They had no idea what type of boarding school this was. These places use such deceptive marketing. It's really just blows my mind and breaks my heart just to know what happens behind closed doors.
Psychological, physical and sexual abuse are rife, as each year thousands of kids are bundled off to these facilities.
I will always have in the back of my mind, am I the problem? Am I still a bad kid? Am I inherently evil?
So what were you doing to be deemed a troubled teen in your mum's eyes?
I snuck my phone to my room late at night. I dated a boy who was 17 when I was 15. And I think I just had a bit of an attitude in general from the tumultuous childhood I had had. It's just this sinking feeling of dread, knowing there's no way out.
Emily was taken first to a wilderness facility in Utah for 10 weeks, moved to her final destination, a school called Monarch in deep and remote Montana. She says it was here she quickly discovered a kind of hell on earth with no one to save her.
If you even looked at someone the wrong way, you were forced to dig up tree stumps. Food was taken away and you weren't allowed to talk to a single other person for months at a time.
Even more disturbing, aggressive group counselling, widely known as attack therapy, pitting child against child and reenacting the traumas of their peers, including sexual abuse.
I think you have to put the entire story in perspective. Paris Hilton has been the largest voice in this and gotten the most attention because of her celebrity. She came from a home where she was used to being, spoiled. And her parents tried to rein her in. She was sent for some discipline. She did not like the discipline. The leaders at Learning indicate that training the brain is no...
Andy Goldstrom is a parent who so strongly believes in the benefits of therapeutic retreats, he started a podcast and support group to guide parents through the process. I just wonder if you can categorise post-traumatic stress disorder as just not liking discipline.
Yeah, I would say look at the track record of the thousands of kids who have been helped, who have become successful, independent kids. So making a decision to have your kid taken away from you in the middle of the night is a big deal, right? But we were at a very desperate point, and we feared for her safety and ours, and it was done very professionally. So this was not some kind of fly-by-night thing. These were experts.
Of course, that must have allayed your fears quite a lot, quite understandably, but for your daughter, I mean, the trauma happens in the moment, doesn't it? She doesn't know anything about that. Do you believe that isolation, deprivation, shaming is the appropriate treatment for children who are suffering anxiety and depression?
I would say that's not what occurs. And if you had done, if you had met with the programs and know the programs like I do, that's not what occurs.
But if the people who've gone through the program say this, should we not believe them? Should we not believe that that's exactly what happened to them?
Okay. Can we call timeout for a minute? This is not how the interview I thought was supposed to go.
Do you believe the troubled teen industry has cleaned up its act?
Not at all. I mean, we have reports of horrific abuse still coming out of these facilities as of a week ago, as of yesterday.
Caroline Cole runs the survivor support group Unsilenced, and like Paris Hilton, is pushing for greater regulation of the industry and a Bill of Rights for young people in care. Some whose worst crime has been to hit their teenage years.
I think we have got to depathologize being a teen. Teenagers are supposed to have an attitude. They're supposed to be cranky. They're supposed to argue with their parents. They're supposed to push back and say no. And if you have a kid who is sneaking out at night or experimenting with substances, it's not always the end of the world. And we have got to learn how to be able to bend as parents to keep our kids safe.
Is there any argument that what these people were doing was their form of therapy? They thought that they were trying to help troubled kids.
No one in their right mind would think this was any form of therapy. If anything, it's a form of torture. It just makes me proud to know that, it just makes me proud to know that these kids know that someone is out there fighting for them. Because when I was in there, no one was and no one knew anything about this.